Welcome back to Popes and Pylons. Let's play some more Europa Universalis IV with the new Cradle of Civilization DLC. We are playing as Avaria, which has become pretty big by now, and we're trying to become even bigger and go for the Avar Khaganate achievement, grabbing Hungary over here and becoming an empire on the way. This is episode number 9 and I am Jan. Now, we've had a couple of wars and we had a lot of issues with rebels. I think we've solved most of our rebel issues and we have some unrest still over here in Borisoglemsk and Voronezh or something, with rebels coming up. Now we did grab the Age of Discovery idea of feudal de jure law, so we can always use this edict to reduce unrest in places. I think we have it on in one of the places here. We already have it on in Astrakhan, trying to fight those rebels, because these were really annoying on us, but they're dropping to 0. And the other one is just these Orthodox guys over here. That's unfortunately 2 states, as you can see by the thick line in between here. So this is the Lower Don, this is Sloboda Ukraine, whatever. So we would have to pay maintenance for the edict on both of them. If you use an edict, you pay triple state maintenance. And our current state maintenance here is 26.26 ducats for the state, which is increased apparently by distance, culture, etc. And if we were to do our edict, we would triple that, so we'd lose another 0.5 ducats. For reducing the unrest. Still, that might be worth it to avoid having rebels that we then have to fight, etc. So I think I'm going to just press this button here, reduce the unrest by 5 in this state. Speaking of unrest, we also have autonomy in a bunch of places, mostly because we've increased autonomy in a bunch of places to reduce unrest, but now some places like Dagestan over here are so low in unrest, you see -10, that we can easily drop autonomy by 1 step and still be at 0 unrest. So I'm going to do that to increase our income, increase the manpower from those provinces, etc. Circassia is the same. You always have to be careful that there's not a temporary modifier on unrest that might screw things up here. There's the autonomy increased modifier, but I don't think that's going to drop off if I press the button. Otherwise, everything looks fine. So I think I'm going to press the button here as well. Circassia. Oh, I can't even. Never mind. But I can do it in Bamut. But Bamut, see, these high numbers, that always means we just beat down a rebellion there, temporarily reducing unrest by a lot. Same here. So I'm not going to touch that. Same here in Edkara. We have Alania though. Where's Alania? Can I right click this? No. In some of these screens you can right click things, some of these you cannot. That is a bit annoying. Alania, you're probably also fine, right? Yeah, separatism has dropped off. This seems perfect. So let's also... Did it just say I could reduce autonomy there? Did I miss that? Oh no, it didn't. Anybody else without a ticket here? -10 in Terek, and we can actually do that. Terek should be fine. It's also one of the old ones. Let's drop that autonomy a bit. And -8 in Tarki. No, let's wait a bit with that. Now that should help us a bit with our income, with our trade, and with our manpower. We can also pick a new idea group. I want it to be a military idea group simply because military power, it had in military technology, we're not ahead in anything else. If we look at technology, we're actually quite behind. Not that behind, to be fair, but still quite a bit behind. So military is probably the way to go. The military technologies all have the issue of having a couple of very nice ideas in them, and then a lot of pretty terrible ideas. Like if you look at quality, the first 3, infantry combat ability, yearly army tradition, cavalry combat ability are nice, although we really only care about the first 2. And then over here, artillery combat ability is going to be nice in the future, discipline is nice, but these 3 ship ideas just don't matter at all. Similar defensive has +15% morale, which is fantastic, some army tradition, which is nice, maneuver, which is alright, and then a bunch of things that really don't matter. And all of these do this. I think I'm going to go for offensive this time, because siege ability plus 20% is just awesome. It increases the speed of your sieges by so much that loses you a lot less manpower on attrition, makes wars go easier, makes you able to snipe forts without the enemy being able to react, etc. And we get some shock, some fire, and again a bunch of irrelevant things. Some discipline, which is nice, and that's about it. Now, often you can look at the edicts, not edicts, what are these things called? Policies. These policies over here that you can get for unlocking 2 idea groups, completing 2 idea groups, and the combination gives you a policy you can use. Unfortunately, essentially all the good policies with military ideas come with innovative. Innovative gives you great things like down there modern siege weapons, gives you a leader siege pip and plus 10% siege ability if you turn that on, or with quality you get 20% infantry combat ability, which is just awesome. We did not go for innovative, we went for administrative, which really does not have any good combinations here, so that shouldn't matter. The one thing we have, no, it's really just nothing. Nothing particularly interesting. The only other options I see, I mean, different options we could go for, say quantity. Quantity has a decent combination with religious, I believe. Where is it? Down there, yeah, where you get 10% morale of armies, but no, this is just not the greatest of all ideas. I don't love quantity. You have to still pay for the troops. You get a lot more troops if you have to have money to afford all of them, and they'll fight like crap and have a ton of attrition and all that. I just don't like going for quantity. So offensive it's going to be, unless we go for a diplomatic idea after all, something such as influence to help with our expansion through diplo annexation, if we ever find the ability to actually release a vassal somewhere. The reduction of aggressive expansion, which is very, very nice if you expand a lot, especially if you expand into Europe a lot. Diplo rep is nice for annexing, and unjustified demands reduction. That's the extra diplo you have to pay if you take something that you don't claim on. Is also very, very nice. So influence idea would be an option. And I think influence idea has some decent policies, especially with administrative minus 20% diplo annex cost. That saves you so much diplo power. So I'm sure we're going to go influence at some point, but I think for now, since we're ahead in military, we're going to go for military policy. But we do have a bit of time since we don't even have the 400 points in military to spend. As we know, our Caucasian ideas are pretty bad. We're just getting pretty much nothing here. A maneuver pip for our general in 2 more ideas, but that's pretty much it. So this thing, cavalry combat ability, we can't afford to use actual real cavalry. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So what about expansion then? We had to take a bit of a break from expansion the last time because of all the rebels, but I think we have handled the unrest mostly, so we can think about where we want to go. And we're sort of starting to hit some boundaries here, with Transoceania and QQ being interesting targets, but too big for us to fight just one-on-one, especially since they also have allies. Well, QQ doesn't currently have allies, but 2 vassals. And Transoceania has Fars and Delhi, which are not the strongest of allies, but they are allies. And they have more troops than we have on their own. What are they tech-wise? Tech 7, I think that's the same that we're at, right? No, we're at Tech 8. Tiny bit of a tech advantage, still. Lithuania is not a possible target right now because they're in a union under Poland. They're just way too big for us. Muscovy, of course, way too big for us. Ryazan, we just pieced out, so we have a truce until 1502. Just 2 more years, actually. You should have a look at that. Oh no, they're allied to Muscovy. Should still build a spy network, just in case we find a situation where Muscovy is too broken down to actually protect them. And we should do the same for Nogai, who are allied to Uzbek and Khorasan, so that's again scary. I think Uzbek and Khorasan both have decent amounts of troops, but let's double check that. Uzbek has no troops right now, but they have a decent force limit. If they recover, then they could be able to fight. And Khorasan, not the Star Wars one, not Khorasan, 22,000 troops. That's actually much more than we have. We can go higher. We have force limits of, I think, 16,000 now. Yes, we're only at 10. So once we get money again, we just spend our money on the new institution, or the old institution. The new one's going to spawn very soon. We can build some more troops, but we can't do that right now. So this is not really an expansion opportunity either. We're currently building a spy network on QQ. We probably need like 30 to actually fabricate a claim. Yeah. So let me start building a spy network on Ryazan. Just so that we can be ready. Because Muscovy is at war with the Ottomans, that might just screw them over. The Ottomans are currently losing that war. It's slightly negative. But I don't know if that's going to continue. Or if the Ottomans just had to take some time to actually get their troops over there. Military tech 9 to military tech 8, so that's in favor of our ally, the Ottomans. Alright. Any other buttons we're supposed to press? We can convert to Sunni, but we have terrible conversion rates, so currently we're not going to do that. Do we want to promote any cultures? Circassian is the only one that belongs to our own group, so we never want to promote these guys, because that will happen automatically as soon as we form our empire, I believe. But we could think about getting the Astrakani, or maybe the Mishar people in here. The thing is, right now they form a large part of our subjects, but they will not probably do that in the future. Let me just find the right map mode for this. Culture. So Astrakani, we own most of the Astrakani territory, so that's why they have such a high part of our land. Well, we don't own most of it, but we own quite a bit of it. Same goes for, let me just check. Oh no, this is all us. So it's just this. That's not us. So go back to the proper map mode, culture. So we own most of the Astrakani, most of the Mishar. So that's not going to become more. So if we use our slots for accepted cultures on these, then we're not really using that in something else, and this is not going to become bigger. That's going to help us now. What would other options be? Ruthenian looks like a very interesting option once we're going over here, but that's the future. And otherwise, I mean, Nogai, sure, but that's not really our main venue of attack, and these are all in our culture group. So I think we're fine accepting Astrakani, maybe even Mishar, since we get bonus accepted cultures from our ideas anyway. We have +3, yeah, let's just grab these. It does cost us a bit of Diplo power, which we don't have a ton of, but I think overall it's going to help us more, and it's going to cost us. So let's just do this. Helps with unrest, helps with taxation, helps with state maintenance costs, etc. Speaking of, while we're running this, let's turn on the... I'm pausing it again. Where is that map mode? There is a state... I'm not looking for the state map mode, I'm looking for the edict map mode. Pretty sure there is one. State edicts, there we go. Merchants Guild influence dropped down, that's probably good for us. Now we have local unrest here, and that's all we're running. Okay. Because sometimes I forget to turn off encourage development and stuff. I think we're currently at low army maintenance, yeah, to just make some money. I would love to go back to drilling, but we do need some money in the coffers first. And we had turned that down, so we actually got the money to embrace the institution. Truce with AQ has ended. Humiliate rival. That probably means that we can... Well, if we had a diplomat, we could embargo them. But not right now. We could make states with a terrible state. One thing to check, I think the next institution is one we can't possibly spawn, but let's double check that. Yeah, it's colonialism. In order to spawn colonialism, you essentially have to have the exploration ideas, have the quest for the New World, and have discovered North, South America, or in any New World continent. I don't know why North and South America would not count as a New World continent, but anyway. So we would basically have to be colonizers and to have a port. We don't even have a port, less even as colonizers. So we're not going to grab that. I can only hope that there's some way it's going to spread to us. But this might be an institution that we have to develop into. Now, time. We're at speed 5. Just waiting for something nice to happen, waiting for these claims to come in, waiting for opportunities and the money to rise, so that we can increase our army size. We could lose 10 prestige or just get less foreign spy detection. I don't care about foreign spy detection. I think the spy game in EU4 is really just not particularly interesting or useful. I mean, you need spies to craft claims and stuff, but other people spying on you is just annoying. It doesn't really do anything. Especially not in this stage of the game. Later on, when they can sabotage your merchant, your reputation, that's a bit annoying. But even then, detection problem usually is not worth it. So just always take the other options. So there's 30 network on QQ, so we can grab a claim on probably Sherman over here, and then get our guy home to do a couple of things. First of all, I wanted to issue an embargo. No, not QQ, it's AQ who's our rival. Right. Embargo you. For the power protection, for a slight gain in trade in this area. That's gonna be fine. Are we embargoing our other rivals? We're embargoing no guy and AQ. We probably still have a truce with Ryzen, so we can't embargo them anyway. So that's alright, so we start building a spy network on no guy again. Build that spy network. There you go. Austria hired Condottieri from Bohemia. I don't care. How's the Ottoman War going? Ottomans, well, they're clawing back slowly, so that might be a thing. They peaced out with Hungary, so that makes them able to concentrate on the Muscovite War, which is good for us. If our ally wins things, I think that's a good thing. I'm definitely gonna grab the admin tech here, especially since there's no institution yet, and we're behind on admin tech. Courthouses don't really matter. Increased state numbers don't matter right now, but they will matter soon. And now we're ahead of time at getting a slight bonus of production efficiency and reduced yearly corruption. So there's a tiny bit more money, which is fine. Keep ticking up here. Advisors, we still have that National Unrest Advisor, which is fine, I think. This guy sort of pays for part of himself. How much maintenance are we paying? High maintenance, well, a ducat, so he's not saving that much money, to be fair. And why is he so expensive? Just a tiny bit of inflation. That shouldn't really do too much. It's just the time that increases the price here. Come on, Ottoman. We really want Ottomans to wear down Muscovy to the point where they... Interesting. What? So the Ottomans are defending against Muscovy in their conquest of Ladoga, which is a Novgorodian province. And they have 0 war score against Muscovy, but Muscovy has a positive war score against Novgorod, who are the ones they're attacking. Interesting. Anyway, either way, we're waiting for Muscovy to get so exhausted that they're not going to defend Ryazan, so we can swoop in there and take the rest of that land. What's our quest, by the way? There's colonialism, and it has spawned in... That's Renaissance. Portugal. That's annoying, because it's going to take a while for that to spread over to us. Although there should be a couple of colonizers, hopefully somewhere closer, that will also start developing colonialism eventually. But this looks like one that we managed to have to actively develop using our monopowers, which we unfortunately don't have much of. Speaking of, we have a terrible heir, if I remember correctly. Yes, I kind of want to get rid of that heir. Do we want to lose 50 prestige to try for a new heir? I think the answer is yes. He's terrible. He's really bad stats and increased construction. We're gonna go negative on the prestige, but that's gonna tick up again. We'll manage, I'm sure. Let's just get rid of this heir and hope for a new one. It will help us if we had marriages. What about marriages? Are we married to anybody? Our ally, the Ottomans. domestic actions. We're apparently married to you. Do we have any other friends? We do not. So that's also a thing we should be looking for, is where can we find more friends? Oh, we can actually... Astrakhan's at -10 now. Astrakhan. -10. It's -5 from the edict, but that's fine. The rest is... Okay, I think I'm just gonna drop the autonomy in Astrakhan. That's gonna help us quite a bit. Sure. But what I was actually looking for was somebody to ally and marry. Now I think the macro builder shows that nobody's willing to ally us right now. But some people are pretty close. Who of you is interesting? Sind. I always look at Sind, but Sind is so far away. Khorasan, maybe. But they probably don't like us. Fars, Mushasha, Genoa. They hate our navy strength. The only reason they're even remotely thinking about it is because they're kind-hearted. Korea, Hadia, Hassa, Albania, Corfu. Uzbek, that's already 553 is pretty harsh to overcome. And we're allied to their rival, so that's a no. So could be some of these higher level people. And it's always a two-sided thing, right? You want allies to help you, but you don't really want to help your allies at all. And we have the strong ally of the Ottomans, but having somebody else might be nice. Who could be interesting? I don't think any of these people are really interesting, which is a bit unfortunate. What about a royal marriage? Would anybody marry me just for the... I don't usually marry people just for the marriage, but in this case I'm just gonna do this. Marry Mevat over here, I think, as soon as this guy is done. Just to get a higher chance of an heir. And we do have the diplomatic relations slots to spend right now, so that's gonna be alright. How much do we need to fabricate a claim here? 25, so that's gonna be soon. Ryzen's truce has ended. Unfortunately, we don't have the claims yet, so we can't just swoop in and take all their land. What we can do, no, we first have to do this fabrication of a claim on, let's see... Buzuluk is an iron province, but just 6 development, 9 development, and naval goods, 3 development, it's just crap, and that's about it. So we're gonna take the, we have the claim on Agidel, so let's take the 9 development claim here. That saves us the most diplo power in the peace deal. Come back from Nogal quick, please. And the thing is, if I send him to India for this royal marriage, it's going to take forever to come back. I think that's going to have to be fine. Please marry me. Merchants gain loyalty and influence, which is fine. Astrakhan gets good things, Barmut gets good things. Otherwise, we gain a base production in 2 places, which is good to have. Merchant loyalty, which would be acceptable, but I don't really want the unrest. So let's just go with this. Rates have improved, and we should have a slightly higher chance of getting a new heir. Who else would be close to marrying me? Somebody like the Mamluks. Do the Mamluks... Are you like in a clinch with the Ottomans? You're allied to AQ, which is annoying because they are my rival and you're enemy of the... No, so I'm not gonna marry you. I'm just gonna wait for this guy to come back. I think. Then embargo the Ryazani over here. For some power projection. And of course, a tiny bit of trade power gain, maybe. We lost our military advisor. Is there any cool new military advisor? We might just go without one for a while just to get some money to actually get our army up. Then force limit we don't care about. Discipline is nice once we go to combat. And of course we always want advisors so we can have more monarch power, especially if we're planning on doing a military idea group. Anyway, still right now I want the money, so I can finally grow my army to something more resembling an actual army. Let's just go up to the full 16 right away. And this guy's back. If I were to declare war on a guy, probably your allies would protect you, right? Yeah, and you're not even close to not doing that. So that's a bit of a wait. If I were to declare war on these guys, Muscovy would protect them, but not... Oh, they're pretty exhausted. Are you still at war? You are. I hope the Ottomans screw you over big time, so we can just grab Ryazan away under their noses. And the Ottomans seem to now be doing really well in this war. Well, still at +0. They used to be at -3, so it's not a big change. But they've taken back all this Crimean land here. They're losing random stacks over in Crimea, which is stupid, but hey. And ooh. We're at negative prestige. I'm still going to lose prestige instead of going to lose admin power. We're just going to have to grab that prestige back. Did I check yet what my mission was? I did not. Convert Avaria to Sunni. Oh. I do want to do that. It's just so long. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be unrest forever. It's going to cost us money, but we have the quests and we want to do this anyway. So let's just get started. And maybe we can just turn on the conversion edict to make it a bit faster. Enforce religious unity. There you go. That should help with the timing. Put you down to... Well, nobody knows, but it's 1506, so it's 4 years instead of the 90 months that we had before. So that must be better. I mean, it is clearly a lot better. Did you end your war? Please say you didn't end your war yet. I really need you to beat up on Muscovy. God damn it. So that's not gonna be happening then, most likely. Yeah, Muscovy will still protect you. Would it help if I improve relations with you? Oh, you hate me. You absolutely hate me because you want my provinces. That's a bit scary. So that's probably a no. This is always with EU when you're starting as a really small nation, a powerless nation, and especially if you're in land like we are, just a worthless horde land, then it's really hard to just fight your wars. You really have to wait for the right moment to pick a war, especially if you can find somebody that helps you do that war. Make the Ulema like me, the Dhimmi like me slightly less, but that's fine. They're gonna pick up very soon. Tolerance of true faith going up, and heathen tolerance going down. That's actually a bit annoying. Heathens are different religions, so that's just more unrest and stuff we conquer. I think in this case I'm just gonna move the 10 towards mysticism and can go back up to the legalism if I need to. For sure. Now, we could pick that first military idea. We're still a tiny bit ahead. We're not that much ahead in military, however. Do we focus on military? If we take a military idea group now, which I think we should, then I think what we should do is focus on military in order to be able to complete that quicker. And what would our first idea be? Would it help us a bunch? We said we want to do offensive. Get the leader shock, which is nice. I had already decided on offensive. Now I'm wavering again. Because it's just the siege ability and the discipline I really want. And there were then 2 picks and the generals are pretty good. But this infantry combat ability, but the rest is just... Let's go offensive. Before I deliberate even more, let's just go offensive. Grab this thing while we still have our ruler. Hopefully an heir soon. Really need an heir. Maybe I shouldn't have fired my heir. I'm already 56 and only married to 2 people. We should really go looking for another marriage, I think. Could marry Ramazan. Has the advantage that they're probably going to be gone soon. Do you hate anybody? Ramazan? You got Revelant, Cyprus. Allied to AQ. whatever. I'm just going to improve with you for a bit until you say yes to that marriage, which is going to be essentially immediately. But we're going to have to wait a month anyway before we can send a diplomat again. So stop that relations improvement, come back home, and marry these people. Again, we're just doing this so that we can get an heir a bit more likely. Build Spanish on Nogai again. We have our troops. I think I want to start drilling again. Really like the drill on the army. I really like the professionalism gain. We lost some professionalism because we had to hire mercenaries to fight rebels. But we're very, very close to this first thing where we can build supply depots, which is fine. It's not insane ability, but it's fine. And we already get almost 2% fire damage shock ability and 4% siege ability, which is very nice to have. Keep going. Keep watching for places where we can reduce autonomy. These -8s would be a potential, but I really like it to be green. Yeah, let's just wait. There we go. We can now build supply depots, which, as you see here, we can spend 20 military power and get the supply depot in this area, which increases force limit, supply limit modifier plus 50%, and we reinforce at full speed here. Normally you only slowly reinforce in enemy territory. If we do it, if we have a supply depot in a place, then reinforce at full speed. So it's really good to build in enemy territory. And it apparently takes 2 years, stays around for 2 years, and then disappears. We have a thing we can do, state firearm regiments. Oh, because we have 20% army professionalism, we have a new decision we can take. We pay 15% more on the maintenance, but we gain 40% more drill. I think I want that. I don't know if that actually... oh, and I can always abolish that again, but if I do that, I lose 5% professionalism, which I of course don't want to do. Discover an agent, that's fine. Don't really care. What I really want to do is for people not to protect people. Now, Nogai has issues with pretender rebels here, and they lost one of their allies too, so they're just allied to Coruscant now, but still Coruscant is an issue, and I'm sure QQ would let them through. Unless QQ absolutely hates you. Opinion map mode? They do. But I'm not going to make the same mistake as last time. Do you also hate Nogai? Transoceania does not like Nogai. QQ does not like Nogai. I'm not 100% sure whether they would get military access or not. So it would still be scary to declare this war. How many troops did we say does Coruscant have? 22,000. Yeah, that's just way too many. Even if they are at Militech 8. Actually, that's same Militech we have. So we definitely don't want to fight Coruscant. So if we were sure that they wouldn't get military access, then we could declare war on Nogai. That not being the case, I'll just not. I really want an heir though. Really can't afford to die without an heir on this playthrough, or any playthrough for that matter. Let's grab this Diplotech before the institution can screw us over much more. It's rather cheap. Why are you so cheap? Neighbor bonus, legalism, and just a tiny bit of increase from colonialism. Yep, grab that. Increase, not that colonial range matters for us, but at some point I'm gonna want shipyards and the max promoted cultures. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna tick off this decision so it doesn't bother us up there anymore. And yeah. Alright. That's already the end of a very, very peaceful episode with a... Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Look at this heir. I killed my old heir, well, I disqualified him from succession to get a better one, and he had like 211, and now we get a 101. That's... wow. Thank you, game. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's just perfect. Speaking of thank you so much, this has been a peaceful episode of playing as Avaria over here on Popes and Pylons. We have had no expansion, we've just reduced some autonomy, taken some tech, talked through some ideas and planned out, tried to find our way into Ryzen over here where we can actually claim a thing. Let's just do that as the last thing before we Ryzen itself. Sure. And just nothing else happens. I hope next episode is going to bring us some more war. I hope we get into Ryzen with Muscovy not attacking, or we get into Nogai with Khorasan not protecting them, or maybe even something where we call in the Ottomans, who we have a bunch of favors with, 12 favors, into a war on like QQ for example over here. So that might be an option. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. I've been Jan. If you've liked what I've been doing, you know the drill. Like the videos, subscribe to my channel, comment if you have anything to say, and see you guys next time.